is the man of love is the man of love. Love is the woman pretty lady. Love is the queen of May. Beauty, beauty is the light. Beauty is the little that she gave us life. Beauty, beauty.
Mabuhay Pilipinas and hello to the rest of the world.
Welcome to your new companion in looking at the church, the world, and the society from the religious point of view. This is your Kahabit, Father Toots Banafe from the Order of Carmelites.
Join us for your weekly dose of inspiration and information straight from the consecrated men and women in the Philippines. I am your Kahabit, Sister Happy Montecillo of the Daughters of St. Anne.
And we are
The Habits! So, welcome back, Father Toots, to The Habits.
Welcome to you, sister, and to everyone.
Yes. I remember last week we had that, anong tawag doon? Prayer concert.
Oo.
Na mga consecrated men and women ng Archdiocese of
Cáceres. Sa Bicol yun, sister, no?
Yes.
Ang
Ang
ganda.
saya-saya nila.
Oo. Talagang napaka-talented na mga consecrated men and women, no? Nagharana sila kay Mama Mary sa serenade, no?
Yes.
Talaga.
Nakakatuwa din yung, di ba may, ang tawag, nakakatuwa yung mga communities talaga na they presented something, they sang, and parang feeling ko, yes, AMRSP, and these are the members of AMRSP. Kaya,
yes,
nakakatuwa talaga.
Tapos, sister, may mga Marian songs doon na hindi ko alam or hindi ako familiar, pero nakikisabay din ako. Kasi may mga lyrics naman sa baba. Kaya tuwang-tuwa ako, para din akong, siyempre, Flores de Mayo, di ba? Parang, wow, it's a good time to close the Mary's month sa month ng May.
Feeling ko nga, andun ako sa Bicol.
Ako din. At nabisita natin ang iba't ibang kumbento, iba't ibang chapel ng mga women at men religious. Inspire.
And then the way how they presented that openness, that sense of freedom, the joy, the enthusiasm.
Yes. Pinaghandaan nila. Merong choreography at saka naghanda talaga sila. I like it.
And that sense of freedom, actually, it's also related to our topic this week.
Yes, sister.
Yeah, of course.
Kung may joy ng free yes natin as consecrated men and women, ano din yung freedom na sinasabi sa ating lipunan na nangyayari?
Yes, and we are about to celebrate June 12 yun, di ba?
June 12, yes, Philippine Independence Day.
Yes. Di ba, ayun, ano nga yung title ng segment, ang tawag dito, ng week na to sa The Habits?
Di ba Lupang Hinirang? O kanta ba yun?
Ano yan?
Di Ka Pasisiil
Sa Dagat.
Ay,
yun ba yun?
Di Ka Pasisiil Sa Dagat.
Yes.
Gusto ko ang dagat. Ikaw, gusto mo?
Yes, I
like the sea.
So mga kahabits, bilang pagdiriwang ng ating kasarinlan, tunay nga ba tayong malaya na? Hindi ka rin ba pasisiil sa bundok man o sa dagat? Tara, pag-usapan natin yan sa ating mga social media accounts. First, go to facebook.com/amrsp.org. Like and follow na para updated ka.
Maraming salamat din po sa patuloy na suporta sa ating online media ministry on Facebook, lalong-lalo na po sa ating mga pinakamamahal na star senders. Thank you for almost 3,000 stars. Siyempre, special shout out po sa ating kahabit na si Maria Cecilia de Jesus for sending 610 stars last week. Ikaw na ang tunay na star. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
And help us collect 10,000 stars. You can buy stars and send them to us during the live broadcast. You can also send animated virtual gifts attached to different star amounts that will appear in our streams. Dahil for every star we receive, we earn $0.01 US. What are you waiting for? Try sending stars now!
At mga kahabits, nagpapasalamat din po kami ng taus-puso sa inyo. Most especially, sa mga subscribers natin, 1,000 plus subscribers. Support us all the way by watching and sharing our videos on our YouTube channel, AMRSP Media. Don't forget to subscribe para maabot natin ang 10,000 subscribers mark.
At bukod dyan, ay huwag kalimutang manood ng The Habit sa TV Maria every Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. with replays every Thursdays at 6 a.m. and 10 p.m.
Kaya naman, let's start our information routine. Now, here's our roundup of the religious reports. Leading our stories today on the religious reports, CMSP's newest member congregation. During the joint biennial convention held online from April 28 to 30, 2021, the AMRSP formally welcomed the Shemenef community as its newest member congregation. The Shemenef community is an international Roman Catholic community with an ecumenical vocation founded by Father Laurent Fabre, where the community grew out of a prayer group in Lyon, France in 1973 and currently has around 2,000 permanent members from various Christian denominations and over 12,000 people serving in its mission in 30 countries. The establishment in the Philippines started through the invitation by His Eminence Gaudencio Cardinal Rosales and welcomed by His Eminence Luis Antonio Cardinal Tagle in 2013 in the Archdiocese of Manila. The community, Shemenef, is in charge of San Lorenzo Ruiz Student Catholic Center in service of the youth. Master of the Order of Preachers appoints new vicar. On the day of Pentecost Sunday, May 23, 2021, the Master of the Order, Brother Gerard Francisco Timoner III of the Order of Preachers, appointed Brother Mark Christopher Padres OP as Vicar of the Master of the Order. He succeeds Brother Miguel Angel del Rio OP, who had been serving in this capacity since February 2017. Brother Mark was born and raised in Nogales, Arizona, on the border between the United States and Mexico. He entered the novitiate in 1987, made the profession in 1988, and was ordained in 1995. And in 2007, he was appointed Socius of the Provincial and was elected Provincial from 2011 to 2018. Then in 2018, he was elected President of the Conference of Major Superiors of Men in the United States. In February 2020, Brother Mark was appointed Socius for Fraternal Life and Formation by the Master of the Order. To this responsibility is now added that of Vicar of the Master of the Order. Congratulations to the whole Dominican Order.
And now, here's our reports from the Holy See and the Universal Church. Pope appoints new prefect for Congregation for Divine Worship. Pope Francis has appointed the English Archbishop Arthur Roche, 71, as the new prefect of the Congregation for Divine Worship and the Discipline of the Sacraments, where he has been secretary since 2012. Archbishop Roche succeeds Guinean-born Cardinal Robert Sarah, who served as prefect of this congregation since November 2014. The Pope has appointed an Italian Franciscan, Vittorio Francesco Viola, 55, the Bishop of Tortona in northern Italy, also liturgy specialist, as the congregation's new secretary. The Vatican made the announcement of the appointments on Thursday, May 27. The nominations are meant to ensure that the congregation will continue to faithfully promote the spirit and path of the liturgical renewal initiated by the Second Vatican Council in accordance with the wishes of Pope Francis. Filipino priest appointed Bishop of Papua New Guinea. The Holy Father Pope Francis announced the appointment of a Filipino Verbite priest, Reverend Father Joseph Tarife Durero, SVD, as the Archbishop of Madang, Papua New Guinea, through a press release by the Vatican on Sunday, May 23, 2021. Father Joseph is a product of the SVD missions in Surigao. He comes from Dapa, born on April 13, 1968. He entered the seminary and made his first profession of vows in 1991 and was ordained on December 12, 1995 at the Divine Word Seminary in Tagaytay. His first assignment was to the foreign missions to Papua New Guinea, who is now 20 years in that mission territory. From the Universal Church, we move to the reports from the local church. Long-term Manila Vicar for Religious passed away. Maryknoll priest James J. Timothy Thomas Patrick Paul Ferry, also vicar for the religious of the Archdiocese of Manila, died on Friday, May 28, 2021, due to pneumonia. He was 95 years old. During the Requiem Mass at the Religious of the Virgin Mary General Lake Chapel in Quezon City, broadcast by the AMRSP media on Monday, May 31, His Excellency Bishop Roderick Pabilio, Apostolic Administrator of Manila, said in his homily, we quote, "Father Ferry always went out of his way to serve the Lord. He was a dedicated servant of God." End of quote. Father Jim, as he was fondly called, served as Regional Superior of the Maryknoll in the Philippines. Then in 1996, he was named Episcopal Vicar for Religious in the Archdiocese of Manila by the late Cardinal Jaime Sin. On February 23, 2002, Pope John Paul II conferred on him the medal Pro Ecclesia et Pontifice. Father Ferry was laid to rest at the tombs of the religious of the Virgin Mary Congregation in Marikina City, Monday, May 31.
More reports from the local church. Manila priests hold penitential walk. Around 230 diocesan priests under the clergy of the Archdiocese of Manila braved the heat as they walked the streets in prayer and joined a penitential walk Tuesday, June 1, for the country's protection amid the COVID-19 crisis. Leading the way were 4 clerics carrying a statue of the crucified Christ, followed by 2 bishops and dozens of priests from the Archdiocese's different parishes. Prior to the procession, they gathered for a communal penitential service led by Bishop Emeritus Teodoro Bacani of Novaliches at the Quiapo Church, where they ministered to their fellow priests the sacrament of confession. From Quiapo, they walked together to the nearby Santa Cruz Church for a Mass presided over by Bishop Roderick Pabilio, Apostolic Administrator of Manila. In his homily, the prelate said that the day was an opportunity for them to repent, fast, and pray, and that we should use this moment to raise our requests to the Lord, and any of our sins will be forgiven. With forgiveness, the Lord will give us grace, especially our welfare now during the pandemic. That's it for our dose of stories from the consecrated life, the church, and the world.
Catch our next episode for more of The Religious Reports. Mga kababayan at kapwa Pilipino, atin na namang ipagdiriwang ang araw ng ating kalayaan sa Hunyo 12. Ganon din naman ay ipagdiriwang natin ang World Oceans Day sa darating na Hunyo 8. Konektado ba ang dalawang selebrasyon na ito sa ating mga Pilipino? Tingin ko, oo. Nakalipas ang 123 taong kalayaan sa mga mananakop na Espanyol at humaharap na naman sa pagkaabuso ng ating karagatan sa kamay ng banyaga.
Hayaan niyo kaming bigyan kayo ng rason upang ipagtanggol ang ating bansa sa mga nagtatangkang lumupit sa atin, sa bundok man o sa dagat. And we'll be joined by our guest today to help us understand the topic. He is a public interest lawyer providing pro bono assistance to marginalized groups along advocacy issues including human rights, environment, energy, climate, land, IP rights, among others. Currently, he is the Secretary General of SANLAKAS, a national multi-sectoral coalition of basic sectors fighting for genuine democracy and against all forms of exploitation.
Let's welcome here in the Habits, Attorney Aaron Pedrosa, as he shares his points, opinions, and views today on our episode titled, Ka Pasisiil Sa Dagat.
Hello!
Hello po, Attorney. Welcome po sa The Habits.
Magandang araw po, Father Toots at saka Sister Happy.
Hello.
Pinagagalak ko pong maging bahagi ng inyong programa.
Alam mo ba, Sister Happy, si Attorney Aaron, magkasama kami sa board ng dalawang terms ata ng Task Force Detainees of the Philippines. Isang mission partner ng AMRSP.
Yes.
Kaya, pati hindi kami nagkita, pero virtually magkikita kami.
Wow, that's good to know. So really, Attorney Aaron is really already is active at the same time he is journeying with us.
Yes, oo. So, kilala niya ang mga taong simbahan.
Nice. So before we start our POV segment today, gusto lang po namin ipaalam sa lahat ng ating manunood na ang kikitain ng ating episode today will be donated to our fisher folks affected by China's bullying on the West Philippine Sea. So please, mga kahabits, send some stars on our Facebook live stream, watch and subscribe on our YouTube channel, or you may also donate through our Metrobank, PayMaya, and GCash accounts that are on your screens. Maraming salamat po.
So now, Attorney Aaron, to give our kahabits a brief background, paano nga ba magkaugnay ang pagdiriwang ng ating pabansang kasarinlan sa June 12 sa hindi matapos-tapos na usapin ng West Philippine Sea? Konektado po ba sila?
Salamat, Father Toots, sa question. Opo, malaki po ang pagkakaugnayan ng nangyayaring tila baga sigalot dyan sa West Philippine Sea. Dahil kung ating matatandaan sa ating kasaysayan, na ilang taon din na pananakop, 333 years sa ilalim ng mga banyaga, to be exact, ng mga Espanyol. At sinundan ng pananakop ng Amerika at saka ng Hapon. Ngayon, tila baga may bagong anyo ng pananakop. Ito yung incursion sa ating teritoryo or yung mga areas kung saan meron tayong sovereign rights. Ito nga yung West Philippine Sea. At ito yung nangyayari ngayon sa konteksto ng pag-ukupa sa ilan sa mga features, mga land features, dyan sa West Philippine Sea ng China. At kasama din, hindi lang yung actual occupation, yung pagdagsa ng mga armadong sandatahan, lakas sa dagat, maritime armed forces ng iba't ibang bansa sa pangunguna ng Estados Unidos. Maaari din itong tingnan na isang uri ng panghihimasok. Kaya sa ating paggunita ng Araw ng Kalayaan, mapapatanong ka, malaya nga ba ang Pilipinas? Kung gayon, may mga panibagong mukha at anyo ng pananakop na ginagawa ng mga banyaga sa ating bansa.
Yes, malaya nga ba?
Malaya nga ba? Magandang tanong. Oo nga, no? Tanong ko ang sarili ko niyan, Sister Happy.
Attorney Aaron, ayon ba sa batas at sa kasaysayan ng ating bansa, ay talagang sa Pilipinas at sa mga Pilipino ang West Philippine Seas? And please explain this to us further, please.
Yes, kung batas ng ating pagbabatayan, siyempre ang ating saligang batas, the Philippine Constitution, is the basic law of the land. From the 1935, 1973, until the 1987 Constitution, binabanggit yung ngayon, yung current Constitution, 1987 Constitution, Article Section 1, define ano ang national territory ng Philippines. At kasama sa definition na yan, tatlong bahagi, yung Philippine Archipelago, pangalawa, yung terrestrial, yung aerial, fluvial domain. Tapos yung pangatlo, yung internal waters, bahagi ng Philippine territory. Pero, nauna na dyan ay pumirma din ang Pilipinas sa UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Seas. At 1982, UNCLOS yan. Kung saan ina-adapt yung archipelagic doctrine na sinasang-ayunan yung posisyon ng Pilipinas na archipelago ang Pilipinas. Ang implication po niyan, yung mga tubig around, between, connecting the Philippine archipelago, which are called in that convention sa UNCLOS, archipelagic waters, ay internal waters. Ibig sabihin, hindi dapat pasukan, hindi dapat basta-bastang may pumasok. Ito yung isang reservation natin sa UNCLOS because under the UNCLOS, yung archipelagic waters ay pwedeng pasukan, pwedeng dumaan yung mga barko ng ibang bansa, yung right of innocent passage na tinatawag. Tayo maintain natin, halimbawa yung tubig between Cebu and Bohol should be internal waters. So hindi siya saklaw ng right of innocent passage. But going back dun sa UNCLOS, ay inadapt natin yung ilang konsepto. Kasama na dyan yung tinatawag na exclusive economic zone. Ano yung EEZ, exclusive economic zone? Ito yung body of water na malapit, lagpas at malapit sa ating territorial sea. Yung territorial sea po natin ay 12 nautical miles from the shore. At yung exclusive economic zone, beyond 12 nautical miles up to 200 nautical miles. Bakit ko binabanggit yan? Kasi under the UNCLOS, lahat ng matatagpuan sa exclusive economic zone ay may sovereign right yung bansang sa kanya yung exclusive economic zone. In this case, sa West Philippine Sea, ang inaangkin ng Pilipinas to that effect ay yung bahagi ng South China Sea na nasa loob ng exclusive economic zone ng Pilipinas. So ito yung mga bahagi ng at may mga isla tulad ng Spratlys Islands, yung Scarborough Shoal na ngayon tumatampok sa agawan ng iba't ibang teritoryo. I also would like to point out that in 2016, yung Permanent Court of Arbitration na nakabase sa The Hague ay sinabi na ang Pilipinas ay may sovereign rights dito sa kanyang exclusive economic zone. Just a brief distinction, iba yung sinasabing meron ba tayong sovereignty or may sovereign rights sa isang lugar. Kasi ang sovereignty, mahalin tulad mo to sa ownership, pagmamay-ari. Yung sovereign rights, hindi tayo eksakto yung may-ari, pero tayo yung may eksklusibong karapatan na gamitin yung bagay o yung kung ano mang matatagpuan dyan. Yan din yung konseptong nakapaloob sa ruling ng Permanent Court of Arbitration. In that sense, sa tanong na atin nga ba? Yes, at sabi ko to medyo complicated yung statement. It is ours, but it is not ours to own. Atin siya in the concept na meron tayong sovereign rights, ibig sabihin, mangisda tayo dyan, to develop the natural resources found therein. I may not agree with it, pwedeng mag-drill tayo dyan, kumuha ng langis, yung iba pang mga exploration. Yung lugar within the exclusive economic zone. But it is not ours to own because it is to be shared sa ibang mga bansa rin insofar as the arbitral ruling is concerned. Halimbawa, binabanggit doon na yung Scarborough Reef ay hindi isla. Ito yung mga bato. At hindi nag-decide doon yung Permanent Court of Arbitration kung may sovereignty yung Pilipinas kung may pagmamayari. But that's the legal point. Yung isang point na ina-advance namin sa Lakas, yung konsepto ng commons. And I would like to believe na ito rin yung ina-adapt ng AMRSP at yung mga kasama natin sa religious. Yung konsepto na pag likas yaman ay dapat tinatamasa ng lahat. Hindi ito inaabuso ng isang bansa, ng isa lamang. Pero because we have sovereign rights, exclusive at that, tayo rin yung tatanungin kung pwede ba natin ito ipamahagi, pwede ba natin ito i-share. Being Filipinos as we are, yung bayanihan spirit nga, yung konsepto ng commons at yung pagpapahalaga dun sa future generations, yan, papasok dyan yung konseptong atin yan, pero hindi yan atin para angkinin, kundi atin yan para ipamalas, ipatamasa rin sa iba, lalo sa mga paparating henerasyon.
Alam mo, Sister Happy, palagi ko narinig itong UNCLOS. Ano pala ito? United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas. Kasi, di ba, nanonood tayo ng mga television, para siguro din sa mga habits natin, no? UNCLOS, ito pala yun. So, Atty. Aaron, ano ang kahalagahan ng desisyon ng UNCLOS or ng United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas ng Permanent Court of Arbitration na nagsasaad na the Philippines has exclusive sovereign rights over the West Philippine Sea and that China's 9-dash line is invalid. Yan ang dapat nabagad natin mula kay Atty. Aaron maya-maya lamang. See you mga kahabits!
And while waiting, don't forget to like and follow our page, facebook.com/amrsp.org. Also send some stars now. At Kahabits, please watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, AMRSP Media. Dahil ang kikitain ng ating episode today will be donated to our fisher folks affected by the China's bullying on the West Philippine Sea. You may also donate through our Metrobank, PayMaya, and GCash accounts that are on your screens. Maraming salamat po.
Mga kahabits, don't go away. Magbabalik kami after a short break. Only here with your information and inspiration companion. This is
The
Habits! Yeah. Attorney Aaron, tama bang sabihin na hayaan na lang ng pamahalaan ang panghimasok ng People's Republic of China sa dagat natin sa kadahilanan na ang manindigan sa ruri ng arbitration court ay magresulta sa gyera laban sa China?
And you're still watching The Habits. Kasama pa rin natin here in POV, Points, Opinions, Views, si Atty. Aaron Pedrosa. So ngayon, may we have your answer po, Attorney. Ano nga ba ang kahalagahan ng desisyon ng United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas ng Permanent Court of Arbitration na nagsasaad na the Philippines has exclusive sovereign rights over the West Philippine Sea and that China's 9-dash line is invalid?
Maraming salamat, Sister Happy. Magandang linawin yan, yung kahalagahan. Kasi karamihan sa atin, ang pagtingin dyan ay malayo sa sikmura. Kaya medyo wag natin pag-usapan or hindi siya daily concern. Pero kung titingnan natin sa balangkas ng pag-unawa ng implikasyon ng ruling na yan, ay pinapawalang bisa yung sinasabi ng China na meron siyang historic right dyan sa 90% ng South China Sea. To the extent na nasagasaan niya yung exclusive economic zone ng Pilipinas. Kung ating matatandaan, clarify natin, yung exclusive economic zone ay matatagpuan within 200 nautical miles reckoned from, beyond, and adjacent the territorial sea ng Pilipinas. Sinaklaw niya pati yun. Ano ba yung 9-dash line muna? Yung 9-dash line na claim ng China ay nakabatay dun sa kanilang, ayon sa kanila, yung kasaysayan na matagal na nilang dinadaanan, nagkaroon ng trade, yung mga isla dyan, including ours, yung mga within the exclusive economic zone, they hark back as far as 200 AD. At in the 1300s, late 1200s, rather in the 13th century, late 1200s, pinangalanan nila yung ilan sa mga isla. At sabi nga ni Victor Corpus, isang analyst, ay by virtue of just naming some features found in what is now the West Philippine Sea, ay tinangkin nila or kiniklaim na nila yung pagmamayari. Pero sabi ng Permanent Court of Arbitration, invalid yung 9-dash line. Wala siyang basihan kahit sa kasaysayan. Invalid din siya sa punto de vista ng UNCLOS, yung pinirmahan natin, yung United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, kung saan signatory at ratified kapwa ng Pilipinas at China yung usapin na yan. Yung ruling din ay ina-affirm yung claim ng Pilipinas. At ito yung sinasabi natin na dapat tayo makapangisda dyan. Meron tayong exclusive sovereign rights to enjoy what is found, kung anong matatagpuan sa West Philippine Sea. That is important kasi kiniklaim ng ibang bansa na sila lang dapat yung makatamasa sa mga maritime features, marine resources, including possible deposits of fossil fuels dyan sa West Philippine Sea. So, na-invalidate yan. Yung isang punto din ng PCA ruling, yung paglilinaw. Ano nga ba? Kasi yung Pilipinas yung nagtanong eh. Ano yung ilan sa mga features dyan? Bato nga ba? Isla? O low tide elevation? Bakit mahalaga yung tanong na yun? Kasi we apply nga itong prinsipyo ng UNCLOS, yung 200 nautical mile na exclusive economic zone. Kung isla siya, magge-generate siya ng sarili niyang maritime features. Ibig sabihin, lalawig palalo yung teritoryong saklawan ng Pilipinas. Imagine, this is just an example, although hindi ito sinabi ng ruling, na kung yung Scarborough Shoal ay isla, magge-generate siya ng 12 nautical miles na pagbilang ng territorial sea. So westward, lalawak palalo ang teritoryo ng Pilipinas. Of course, in the ruling, sabi ng PCA, yung Permanent Court of Arbitration, yung Scarborough Shoal, that's west of Zambales, by the way, ay hindi siya isla, kundi mga bato. At sabi rin ng ruling, pwede mangisda kapwa ang mga Chino at mga Pilipino. Bakit mahalaga yung puntong yan? Kasi ngayon, nangingisda ang ating mga mangingisda, may mga balitang lumalabas na pinagbabawalan yung mga mangingisda natin dahil pinapatrolyahan ng China. So that is wrong if ang pagbabatayan natin yung ruling ng PCA. Pangalawa, because of the clarification kung alin yung territorial waters, exclusive economic zone, nalilinaw din na pwede i-apply yung right of innocent passage. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng pumasok yung mga barko ng mga banyaga sa ating bansa. But I am departing from the ruling in pointing out na ito rin yung nagiging source ng tension lalo. Because of what's happening now, nagmimistulang militarize yung West Philippine Sea. Ang hindi lumalabas sa balita at hindi pinapatampok, nagsanib pwersa ang alyado ng Estados Unidos, iba't iba from Australia, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, France, nandyan sa West Philippine Sea in our exclusive economic zone. So that's also one form of intrusion. Of course, they will cite yung right of innocent passage. But the question begs, it begs the question rather, is the passage really innocent? Because the more na maraming military presence dyan, nagdadagdag siya sa insecurity. It's like you're poking the sleeping dragon, yung China. And because of that, it is forced to do countermeasures to safeguard its interests. Kaya nga ang position po natin, hindi lang China layas, kundi mag-alisan dapat lahat dyan, yung mga military powers who are now congregating in the West Philippine Sea on the pretext of defending our sovereign rights and our sovereignty. Hindi ba tayo dapat ang nag-i-insist niyan? Hindi ba tayo dapat ang nakikipag-usap bilaterally or multilaterally without use of force?
Yeah. Attorney Aaron, tama bang sabihin na hayaan na lang ng pamahalaan ang paghihimasok ng People's Republic of China sa dagat natin sa kadahilanan na ang manindigan sa ruling ng arbitration court ay magresulta sa gyera laban sa China?
Mali. No, clearly mali. Pero remember, in the world stage, at ito yung position din ng gobyerno ni Duterte, walang single enforcer, wala tayong law enforcement under international law, kaya mahirap ipatupad yung ruling. But it is also wrong to say na dahil mahirap ipatupad yung ruling, hayaan na lang natin. Hindi tama yun. Ang sinasabi natin, we cite the ruling to assert our sovereign rights over the maritime resources na matatagpuan sa West Philippine Sea, pero isalang-alang din natin ano yung mga geopolitical implications if we resort to force. By asserting, hindi ibig sabihin gera. Yan yung mali. But by asserting diplomatically, at ito yung sinasabi namin, halimbawa, i-develop na natin, ipatupad na yung Code of Conduct ng Association of Southeast Asian Nation with China. Kasi hindi lang naman Pilipinas at China yung claimant dyan. Within ASEAN, 5 ang claimants. Marami ang nag-aangkin yung claiming whether sovereignty or sovereign rights sa mga teritoryo, yung maritime features, dyan sa West Philippine Sea and parts of the South China Sea. Pag-usapan natin, yung isa pang mungkahi, pag-usapan natin with China. Sabi na ko, mahirap yan kasi ang China binubuli na nga tayo. In the international stage, and I am citing a briefer prepared by the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission ng Estados Unidos, imagine, US pa mismo, na if we pursue a dialogue track with China, posible yan. Sabi nga ni Victor Corpus, mapapahiya in the global stage pag yung Goliath ay ibubuli si David. Sa gayon, naghahanap tayo ng ano yung isang peaceful resolution over how to best exploit the natural resources found therein. And this also would lead to disarming yung argument na kailangan natin ng military showdown dyan. Kailangan magkaroon ng mga yung naval exercises. Tawag namin dyan, that's saber rattling. Parang you are pursuing the course of force when pwede naman natin pag-usapan. Of course, may incursion ng China that has to be condemned. Kailangan ay ibaliwala yan. Pero there is this alternative school of thought which says, which looks into bakit ganyan ang behavior ng China. Bakit bigla siyang since 2009, according to this paper ng Estados Unidos, nag-occupy na siya ng mga islets, nagtayo, nag-reclaim. Ang karugtong niyan sa isang analysis, and again, would like to mention yung kay Victor Corpus na presentation, ay yung nasa possible brink of extinction, yung Chinese civilization, if a first attack happens from the West Philippine Sea. The question is, sino yung dominantly present sa West Philippine Sea? US at saka yung Allied Forces. Anong nasa West Philippine Sea? The deepest trench in the world, the Manila Trench, na pwedeng itago or tumago yung submarine. And as we speak, merong mga submarine dyan, yung ating kaalyado, na hindi natin alam. At ito, batay sa pagsusuri. So the first point of attack would easily obliterate yung civilization ng China found along the coast. And how do you think would China respond? I-create yung kanyang capacity to defend itself. And no less, the US paper expresses that. So kung may ganung recognition, tanggalin natin yung reason bakit may ganyang behavior sa China, tanggalin natin yung bakit ganyan naman sa US. Sabi ko nga, gamitin natin yung natural resources dyan para sa pagpapakain sa mga tao, yung employment, rather yung source of livelihood ng ating fisher folks, at yung pangangalaga sa kalikasan. Hindi yung saber-rattling at saka yung warmongering na nangyayari.
Yeah. Curious ako, but at the same time, wondering, ano nga ba talaga ang meron?
Oo. Mukhang...
Parang, what a treasure. Kasi parang pinaglaban nila.
Kasi interesado si Sir Happy, no?
Pero Attorney Aaron, labag naman ba sa ating batas na payagan ang panghimasok ng China sa mga tubig at isla, maging ang pagkamkam ng mga aquatic resources sa West Philippine Seas?
Of course, yung answer dyan ay no. Hindi pwedeng panghimasukan ang ating yung natural resources. In the same way na hindi rin papayag yung China na pumunta tayo dun sa kanilang teritoryo at basta-basta na lang kukunin yung kanilang mga resources. So it is a matter of national security, food security, yung ating pangangalaga sa mga future generations. But it is also altogether an important thing to point out na in a time, na yung natural resources na meron tayo ay hindi lang atin yan. Although may sovereign rights concept na sinasabi sa UNCLOS, that is a shared common. Yung konsepto ng common. In the same way that the air we breathe is free to all, the water that we drink should be free to all, the resources that we find in the oceans should be enjoyed by all. Ang problema dyan, pag sobra-sobra at the expense of the Philippines o yung ating requirements na, mali naman yun. Overfishing, yung pagsira ng ating mga corals, yung yung mga reefs, pag-convert ng mga maritime features dyan for military purposes, mali yun. And that has to be called out. That has to be condemned. Pero in the sense na, is it correct to say, although legally, correct siya, kasi sovereign rights nga, UNCLOS, at signatory ang Pilipinas at China, correct to say that we should be able to do this at a time na dapat tinitingnan natin yung pangangailangan ng ibang bansa. Walang passport, sabi nga, yung isda, labas-pasok yan sa West Philippine Sea, even South China Sea. Kaya that should be shared. Ang babantayan natin, yung pang-abuso, yung pagsira sa kalikasan, etc. Kaya a code of conduct among ASEAN countries with China would be helpful. Also, yung paglilinaw na we can talk this through without resorting to force ay helpful. And removing the very argument for the continued presence or occupation, incursion of Chinese forces, whether it's civilian or military sa ating exclusive economic zone, would also require making sure na wala rin yung presence ng ibang mga military actors led by the US. Alis sila dyan lahat. And only then can we enjoy yung security and peace and stability dyan sa area na yan.
Attorney, kung ayon sa batas at sa kasaysayan, ang West Philippine Seas ay nasa pangangalaga ng kapangyarihan ng Pilipinas. Anong mga hakbang ang maaaring gawin ng mamamayan para maprotektahan ang pambansang kasarinlan laban sa mga nagtatangkang manakop sa mga pag-aari ng bayan?
Salamat, sister. Napakahalagang tanong. What can we do to protect yung West Philippine Sea? Well, yung paulit-ulit ko na rin sinasabi kanina ay yung code of conduct. That would be very helpful. Until April of this year, pinulit ng Department of Foreign Affairs yung panawagan na magkaroon na sana ng malinaw na code of conduct yung mga ASEAN countries together with China kaugnay ng paano gagamitin, exploiting resources sa West Philippine Sea. And this came about after yung insidente sa Julian Felipe Reef, kung naalala natin, na nagkaroon ng parang close to a international dispute again between the Philippines and China. Pangalawa ay yung pagtitiyak na pinapatupad din ng Pilipinas yung mga batas natin, yung Philippine government. Remember that we have the Department of Agriculture, yung Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Yung protection ng ating maritime resources ay saklaw ng ahensya ng gobyerno na yan, yung DABFAR. At hindi tayo proactive kahit sa pagpapatupad na yan. So our own government is also at fault in that regard. As regards yung entry ng mga banyaga dyan, yung isang pwedeng gawin ng gobyerno ay i-review yung mga military arrangements niya, yung mga kasunduan with the United States because it is causing insecurity. And I'd like to correct, akala natin yung the presence of the US dito sa Pilipinas ay lalong that would add peace sa ating given the dispute. No, it is adding fuel to the fire. Take note na merong 5 bases ang Amerika sa Pilipinas under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement signed under the Obama administration pa yan and the Philippine government. On top of the Mutual Defense Treaty, the Visiting Forces Agreement, the Mutual Logistics MLSA na agreement din, causing justifying rather the continued presence of US and its allied forces. Kung may ganyan ka, tapos gusto mo makipag-usap sa China, iba ang pinanggagalingan yan. In the same way na si China gusto makipag-usap from the point of might. So puro might. Tanggalin natin yung might na yan kasi that will not serve our interest. Therefore, we have to start by demilitarizing. Tanggalin na at manawagan yung gobyerno na teka, it is our exclusive economic zone. Anong ginagawa nyo dyan? Alis kayong lahat at simulan natin ang pag-uusap. And that would really result in being able to enjoy kung ano yung maritime resources na available dyan. Isa rin, at sinasabi ng mga eksperto, na we should always refer to the PCA ruling, yung Permanent Court of Arbitration ruling, ng 2016. Yes, I would agree to that. Pero consider din na ano yung magiging net effect sa hardline position. Yung hardline position, wala ang China. Alis dyan ang China. Pero andyan yung US. Hindi aalis ang China. Yung win-win position would be to remove all the arguments for the further retention, for lack of better words, ng China dun sa ating mga features na nandyan, as well as the US. Alis sila dyan. And then let us look for reasons, or rather for ways, paano natin ma-develop yan together with the ASEAN. May isa kong kasama sa organization, si Rusty Deliso, Comrade Rusty Deliso, has written a paper on this. Instead nga West Philippine Sea or South China Sea, tawagin natin Southeast Asian Seas in consideration na hindi lang Pilipinas ang claimant or China, kundi yung 5 bansa ng Southeast Asia. How can therefore we ensure that we mutually benefit from the resources without resorting to war? Posible naman na may ganun eh. Dapat lang malinaw yung ating kasunduan, malinaw na wala dapat mga military presence dyan, at anong benefits ang makukuha ng lahat ng stakeholders dyan sa territory, yung mga ocean, yung karagatan na nandyan.
Although nasabi mo na yung pwedeng gawin ng pamahalaan, tayo mismo, mamamayan, anong pwede natin gawin?
Yeah.
Tayo mga ordinary citizens, no? Yung Makikilahok ba tayo or hindi? Or ano gagawin natin? Concretely.
Yung pinaka-konkreto dyan at parating nakakaligtaan ng ating mga kababayan ay yung gobyerno nagsisilbi at nakatayo dahil sa mamamayan. Pag hindi gumagana ang gobyerno doon sa ano ang pangangailangan ng mamamayan, to a point na posible hindi pa naunawaan ng mamamayan na kailangan pala yan. Lalo ngayon sa level ng consciousness na napakababa, yung awareness, etc. We can hold the government to account. So that, halimbawa, kung pumasok sa isang kasunduan sa usapin ng West Philippine Sea na dehado tayo, we should be the first to call out the government to reject such proposals. At magsisimula yan mula sa pinakabatayang unit. Ano ba yan? Sa barangay, local government unit, sa inyong mga kongresista. Bakit? Although at ito yung excuse na ginagamit parati ng gobyerno, that the president is the chief foreign policy architect. Tama. But the president serves the will of the people. So kung ang will ng people ay, even in its most general sense, ay kapayapaan, ang translation yan? At kung hindi tayo mananawagan ng kapayapaan dyan sa West Philippine Sea, magpapatuloy. Kailangan din i-insist natin, ano nga ba yung totoong kwento? Kasi ang lumalabas, kwento that demonizes one against the other. That we should be looking at the larger picture. Kasi hindi lang China ang problema. Ang problema din ay yung ibang mga bansang nandyan na at hindi yan na-underscore. Kailangan natin hingin, magpapaliwanag. Ano bang kwento dyan? Isa rin, ngayong June 12, baka nakakalimutan na natin, Araw ng Kalayaan. Manindigan. How can we be truly free if our own government blindsides us dun sa mga mahalagang usapin? At how can we be truly free kung may mga panibagong anyo ng panghihimasok na nangyayari at hinahayaan lang ng gobyerno? So hindi lang ito usapin ng West Philippine Sea. Maraming mga kaakibat na mga kasunduan ang pinasok dun sa konsepto ng, ang tawag nila dyan, hedging diplomacy. Kung sinong malakas, dun papanig ang Pilipinas. May anti-US rhetoric ang Pilipinas, pero tuloy pa rin yung mga kasunduang militar. Merong, bagamat may kasunduang militar, tuloy ang pangungutang sa China. At the end of the day, will these serve the interests of the Filipino people? Kaya at the very minimum, ang hinihingi rin natin, maging critical. And I'm not saying reklamo ng reklamo. Magtanong, di ba? Usisahin, ano ba itong mga kaganapan dyan? Take everything with a grain of salt. Kasi hindi lahat ng sinasabi sa atin ay totoo. At hindi rin lahat ng nangyayari ay yan talaga. There is more to it than meets the eye, sabi nga. Nakikita natin, China lang eh. Hindi natin nakikita yung marami ng warships sa pangunguna ng US. That's also a problem.
Yes.
You mentioned kanina yung COVID fund.
Yes.
Magandang asal yan, di ba? And to be truthful to what we have agreed. Importante din yun.
Sister, ano yung dalawa o tatlong learnings mo ngayon? Ako una.
Sige.
Una. Ngayon mo nalaman kung ano ang UNCLOS. Of course, I have read before that ang UNCLOS ay mahalaga, yung arbitration. Pangalawa, we have to assert our rights, our sovereign rights. When we say we assert, it doesn't mean na naghahamon tayo ng gera agad. I-assert na natin yung sinabi ni Atty. Aaron, tayo, initiate ng dialogue ang ASEAN countries, mga lahat ng bansa. At pangatlo na, yung EEC, yung Exclusive Economic Rights, ang dating sa akin, parang tayo ang may sovereign right, parang caretaker tayo, pero hindi natin ipinagkakait, di ba? Pero huwag naman ang kingin ng iba. Yun ang aking parang natutunan ngayon sa sharing. Hindi, meron pa. At saka yung, hindi hindi na pala China ang usapin. Kaya
Yeah.
ang question na, malaya ba tayo? Tunay ba ang kalayaan? Ikaw, sister, ano yung sinabi mo kanina?
So, yun na nga po yung main na yung abuso. Pero, really, for me, the sharing of Attorney Aaron is really enlightening. And marami po ako natutunan personally. I'm sure, mga kahabis din natin, may marami din silang natutunan. So, maraming salamat po, Attorney Aaron, sa paggising ng aming pagmamahal sa kalayaan ng ating bayan. Attorney Aaron Pedrosa ng SANLAKAS Party List at sa pagsama sa amin ngayon, maraming salamat po. Sana po ay hindi ito ang huli. Ano po, Attorney? Sana po when we want some explanation and we need your expertise, sana po available din po kayo ulit.
Salamat, Sister Happy at saka Father Toots.
Yes.
Final note lang, sabihin ko kasi alam ko nagkakasunod tayo dito. Lahat tayo ay stewards of creation. Actually, yan yung konsepto ng commons eh. How do we protect the commons so that it redounds to the enjoyment and benefit of all? Yan yung isang usapin na na-overshadow sa West Philippine Sea. Tama po si Father Toots sa kanyang takeaway na sinabi. It is ours, but not ours to own. Sana yakapin natin yung ganyang konsepto. At ipaglaban natin yung kapayapaan, yung kalayaan, at yung pagkakalinga sa ating likas na yaman. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you so much, Attorney Aaron. God bless you po. Ayan, ang dami ko talaga natutunan today. Medyo ano lang siya, yun nga eh, parang ang laki namang usapin. Parang it's so, the topic is so huge, parang ganun. But actually, it affects us. Although it doesn't affect us directly, kasi wala naman tayo dun sa karagatan na yun. I mean, we are not there. Pero really, as Filipinos, really it affects us. Kaya thank you so much talaga kay Attorney Aaron talaga. He explained it really very clearly kung ano nga ba ang magiging epekto nito sa atin. At tayo din, anong gagawin, anong response natin dun sa itong usapin na West Philippine Sea. Yan, sinabi niya na po kanina.
Kasi yung hamon niya na, I like yung sinabi mo ngayon na malayo man tayo sa West Philippine Sea, pero concern natin ito.
Makinahok.
Diba, ang sakit ng kalingkingan ay damdam ng buong katawan.
True,
Ramdam ng buong
yes.
katawan.
So, bukod sa atin, kahabit Sister Happy, feeling ko, umaapaw na rin ang damdamin ng ating mga kahabits dahil sa episode natin today. Kwentuhan naman ninyo kami ng inyong mga points, opinions, and views. I-share nyo na rin sa amin ano pa ang gusto nyong pag-usapan sa ating next episodes. For comments or suggestions, i-message ninyo kami sa facebook.com/amrsp.org. Also visit our YouTube channel, AMRSP Media, where you can also catch our weekly broadcasts of the Holy Rosary and the Sunday Eucharist, and more contents from the men and women religious. Again, we wish to thank Attorney Aaron Pedrosa for his points, opinions, and views. Mga kahabits, join us again as we explore consecrated life, the Church, the world, and the society. This has been your kahabit, Father Toots Buenafe of the Order of Carmelites.
Thank you very much, mga kahabits, for joining us on our weekly religious routine. See you again next week. I am your kahabit, Sister Happy Montecillo of the Daughters of St. Anne, signing off from your weekly inspiration and information companion. We have been
The Habits!